What's up everybody and welcome to the channel. In today's video we're going to take a look at the all-new 2024 Lotus Amira. This is the first edition. Big shout out to Flo Lotus of Winston-Salem for providing this car for today's video. Take a look at their website linked down below. So for the all-new Lotus Amira, there are two engine options available. There is a Mercedes AMG derived 4-cylinder that will be paired to a dual-clutch transmission, or the Toyota derived 3.5-liter supercharged V6, which will either have a torque converter automatic or the 6-speed manual transmission. This makes about 400 horsepower with 310 pound-feet of torque. Of course, it's a mid-mounted engine along with a limited slip rear differential for the rear-wheel drive configuration. 0 to 60 is about 4.2 seconds. Top speed is about 180 miles per hour. Quarter mile time is 12.7 seconds at 111 miles per hour. And then 70 to 0 braking is also about 149 feet. The overall length is 173.7 inches with a wheelbase at 101.4. Curb weight is about 3,200 pounds. Width is 82.4 inches and height is 48.3 inches. You're also going to get the ventilated and drilled 2-piece rotors out front with a 4-piston brake caliper, and the rear also has 4-piston calipers with the same type of rotor. The Amira also features hydraulic power steering. And then as far as efficiencies go, this runs on a 13.8 gallon fuel tank, and you can expect 16 miles per gallon in the city with 24 out on the highway. Moving on to the exterior styling with the all-new Lotus Amira, this is a stunning car, and for about $98,000, it looks way more expensive. This thing is gorgeous. We had a really cool set of LED headlights. You can see the gray housing, the nice daytime running lights to them, very beautifully designed on that front fender. Front bumper has a lot of gorgeous curves to it. We get that Lotus badge, and then a massive opening with front parking sensors. You can see all the grille with the mesh, and you can see all the different radiators behind it, some gloss black trim on the farthest side, and then a really aggressive front splitter. This thing is beautiful in person. You also see a little bit more body color and gloss black in the front. And then up on this bonnet area, there's these boomerang shaped vents. So a lot of the airflow from the front bumper will cut through and pass out around the upper portion. Awesome angles. I don't think there's a bad angle on this sports car. You can also see just the nice curvature to the front fender and how everything comes together. There's a lot of really cool angles and a lot of sloping bodywork. You got a set of Goodyear Eagle F1 tires with a nice design on these multi-spoke wheels with the two-tone color. These are 20-inch diameter. You can also see a little bit of the Bilstein suspension behind it. This particular car is the touring spec, so it has a little bit softer chassis than the sport version. You got a nice gloss black trim piece in the lower portion of these doors, and then sloping body lines throughout the door panel. With the black package, you have the blacked out roof. You can also see the power folding on the side mirrors with an LED integrated turn signal, and then all the black roof with really smooth body lines just to fade this all together. At the side, it has that supercar appearance with that mid-mounted design, just looks gorgeous. And being a first edition, you can also see the badge on this back part. The glass and the roof kind of slope down together just to integrate everything seamless. And then at the back, once again, gorgeous lines. You can see just how wide these hips are for the rear fenders. Intake duct as well. Nice design for the rear wheel. And then the set of LED taillights. I really like just the overall look. They also have a cool 3-dimensional design integrated very well into the brake light along with the spoiler. We have Lotus written out in black. Massive vents back here you can see through to the rear tire. And then a huge rear diffuser finished in more gloss black. We have a backup camera, parking sensors, black color for the exhaust tips. And overall, this thing is stunning. It looks every bit of a supercar, and yet it's sports car money. If we take a look at the key fob, you have lock and unlock, trunk release, and then the Lotus badge on the other side. And then on the side, you can actually see where it says for the drivers. So that is a cool touch for this car. If we go ahead and take a look at the trunk area, this is also where the engine is, of course. Lifting that up, we have that supercharged 6-cylinder. You can see into the interior. And then for the trunk, we have the battery mounted back here. Of course, we do have some accessories, window sticker as well. And you can fit quite a lot. This is a pretty useful car, which is a really good touch. Not many mid-mounted engines configure like this. Going ahead and closing it, we can just press this, open up the door, and take a look at the leather interior. So it has a really nice brown contrast with all the black. and you're gonna see aluminum accents all throughout it. Taking a look at the door panel, you can see the smooth black leather all throughout it, and then this nice brown contrast aluminum release handle with all of your controls up above. You can see this nice aluminum mesh for the KEF audio system, memory seating, some more storage down below, and the silver trim throughout the door panel. Moving inside, the door sill is a lot lower than the Evora, the previous generation car, so it's a lot easier to get in and out of. You can see interior dimming, trunk release, and parking brake. And then being a 6-speed manual, you have those 3 pedals and the exposed shift linkage underneath the shifter. There's also storage down below and a USB port, power controls on the seat, and then a nice look at the seats themselves. Beautiful leather with the stitching. You can also see the Lotus, the black stripe, nice contours throughout it, and really good bolsters on the bottom as well as the back. Also get a 3-spoke steering wheel with your Lotus badge and silver trim. And then now sitting in the Lotus Amira, keep my foot on the clutch, we can go ahead to the center, flip this toggle up, and fire it up. Taking a look at the gauge cluster now, you can see the tack on the entire upper portion. You have your speed, your gear, along with your drive mode. Throughout this center, you're able to toggle using the control panel over here. So I can scroll up, you can see a few things of information. You can also scroll left and right in each of these menus. So really nice to see a lot of modern aspects coming to the Lotus brand. Really cool for downforce, you can continue back downwards, see more trip information like that. Navigation will also pop up, which is a great touch to see. Then we have audio along with your phone. You can see some vitals down below. On the steering wheel, we do have cruise control over on the left side with some voice commands, and then more audio controls on the right. The stock for the right side is for all the windshield wiper controls, and then we have turn signals over on the left. To the left side of the steering wheel, you can see this nice 2-tone color, one of your air vents, and then more of this black leather running across the entire dashboard. It even says First Edition up here. I love the 2-tone color. And then for the infotainment system, this is Lotus's own design. It actually works really well, nice and snappy, everything you would want on a modern car. So I think they've done a really good job on that. Climate controls are right here. You got the little race car guy, super easy to adjust temperature, fan speed, zones, heated seats as well. You have your home menu over here. This icon as well will open up a few more things, then you can swipe that up and get it out of the way. If you toggle this icon now, you can see Android Auto, more things like that, tire pressure. Of course, you do have navigation in this car. And then going into reverse, you got a good sized backup camera with guidelines and all of your parking sensors. Underneath that, we have your 2 air vents, some physical controls as well for temperature you can easily adjust, comes up on the screen. We have different zones, defrost, fan speed, a little bit of storage, and then our drive mode select. So you can toggle this into all the different modes. You can adjust powertrain, exhaust, and stability, and then it'll also pop up on the screen with the different colors. So pretty cool layout for everything like that. We have our 6-speed manual transmission with your pattern up on top, nice leather shift boot, aluminum top, more aluminum all surround with your start stop button. And I really like that shift linkage. It's hard to show on camera, but pretty cool to see how when you make any gear change, you can see everything moving in the car, which is really neat. You have more of this brown leather, 2 cup holders, black leather on your armrest, and then a little bit of storage with 2 USB ports. There's also a USB port located right up here on the windshield. So it's really cool if you have a radar detector. There's garage door buttons on here as well. Glove box, you just press that, open it up, and you have a huge amount of storage space. And then we have a black Alcantara headliner. Looks really nice in here. You can even see your throttle back there on the engine, good visibility. And then there's all of your dome lights, as well as more Alcantara for the sun visors. Now this new Lotus Amira is not going to have the same 2+2 seating that we saw on the Evora. However, you do have a pretty nice cargo shelf back here, a little bit of space up on top of those hooks, but then you have a small net to make this pretty practical. So overall, this car seems like a really nice upgrade from the previous generation. All right, so setting off now in the Lotus Amira. We're in the sport mode right now. And using the manual, I like there's no rev matching in this car, so you still have to work hard to drive this car. On top of that, this has hydraulic power steering. I love the smooth power delivery. With the supercharged 6-cylinder motor, it is so seamless with the power. It just pulls really, really well. Easy to rev match, and with it in the sport mode too, you can hear some gurgles on the overrun of the engine, which is a pretty cool touch. Visibility and everything is also pretty decent. You can see the front corners of your right shoulder, a little tight, but you know, it's a mid-engine car. It's kind of what you would expect. Left shoulder, not too bad. It feels really nice in this car. It definitely feels premium, and the handling. This car is built for the turns. It loves getting thrown around. The steering is amazing. I mean, this thing just hunkers down. This is really fun to just drive. I love the 6-speed manual. It's tight feeling, a lot shorter throw than the Evora ever had, and it's very direct. Like, you just gotta click it kind of into gear. It feels really satisfying when you get a good gear change. And it's pretty close to the steering wheel to where it's like easy to make your shifts. It's really easy to drive this. And you can tell this car is all about the driver. It is very driver focused and really nice. The clutch pedal has some weight to it. So once again, there's feedback to this car. You have to work for it, you have to earn it to drive it well. Seating position is also pretty comfortable. It is a nice place to be within the drive modes. So basically it's gonna adjust the powertrain a little bit, make the car a little bit less touchy, and then traction control. So the suspension you order when you buy this car is how it comes. If you get the touring spec or the sport spec, you know, that is what it is. This one's a touring. It feels really comfortable in here. You can still feel the bumps. I mean, this is still a sports car at the end of the day, to where, I mean, this car is about hitting the track, hitting the mountains, and stuff like that. I love the sounds too. And those brakes work really well when you need to come down to a standstill. As far as maneuvering the car around, the turning radius is incredibly tight. So it's an easy car that you can just drive around and actually use like your daily. This could be a car you're gonna buy and pretty much drive it all the time. And then if we go back into sport mode, I mean, this is just a joy to row through the gears and everything. It truly is just fun and fun. I mean, this is a car you're smiling when you're in it. It also just feels roomy. It feels like a nice car. It doesn't feel like you're sacrificing much to get what you want out of a Lotus. So I really like that aspect. I mean, it's just a cool car to be in. Use of materials is also pretty nice in here. And I feel like this really still is a driver's car. It weighs not a lot. It's light on its toes. The brakes, the handling, the steering, all the things that translate into a driver's car are alive in this car for sure. All right, so my honest thoughts now in the Amira. This is a cool car. I've always been a Lotus fan. My brother owned it at Evora a long time ago. Been around the Elise quite a bit as well. You know, this is a car that is still livable and normal, like getting onto the highway with navigation, heated seats, and air conditioning that works really well. I mean, it's cool to be able to have that blend of everything. The power delivery is so good from the supercharged motor. I mean, it just does whatever you want. And I love the shifter. The shifting feel in this is so mechanical, so what you would want from a Lotus. I really like that. The overall driving feeling of this, it's a kind of normal car. Like, it does tone down enough. It still is a sports car. I mean, it's basically always in sport mode. Even when you toggle it into tour mode, it's not like it softens the suspension or makes it, you know, super cushy to drive or anything. You can still tell this car is a sports car at the end of the day, and it is designed to drive like this all the time. Even being more of the touring trim level, you know, it still is a pretty rigid chassis to where there's no flex to it. You're not going to feel any of that. I love the weight of the shifter. Man, oh man. I don't think there's really any complaints or downfalls with the car in general. It's not like it's put together like the old Lotuses. This is actually put together very nice. It feels like a nice car to be in. It's not skimping out. And it's a good place to be. The seats are pretty comfortable. You have really good adjustments. At 5'11", I'm sitting here very well. several inches of headroom. You know, you can sit here with a helmet on at the racetrack and you're going to be able to have that type of clearance. So they've really thought about that. The fin finish feels nice, it's fun to be in, it's smooth, it's quiet. You know, we're going 50 miles an hour just cruising, and it's nothing out of the ordinary. You know, it's not an ultra luxurious car, so you're going to hear things, it's not perfect. But for a sports car, this is what it should feel like. And I like how it's roomy enough in here to where it doesn't feel super confined and tight. You know, if I had a passenger, it's not like we're shoulder to shoulder. It's so responsive too. When you do things in this car, it reacts to what you do instantly. There's no delays. You don't have to ask this car, you know, to do something and then it takes a minute. It does what you want when you want it. And it just seems really well balanced. The steering wheel is small. It feels really good in your hands. Man, makes all the right noises too. It's just a joy to drive, and it's something unique. You know, the biggest competitor is going to be the Corvette and maybe a Porsche Cayman GTS, you know, about $100,000 depending on how you spec them. So it has some really iconic brands and cars to go up against that have been around for a while, that have a huge loyal fan base. And I think this is something that people can get on board with over the competition because it is unique and special. But you're not sacrificing just to get a Lotus. And the shifter feel is so perfect. It's so easy just to make your shift. And then the handling. I actually got to do some back roads earlier today in this car. Man, it just handles really well. Going around turns. Just nothing. So there is the new Lotus Emira. Definitely an awesome car. I think this is really going to put Lotus on the map, and I really hope that they have a lot of success with this, and I hope their brand continues to grow. They've kind of relaunched their entire brand to be a whole new company that I hope is going to be really successful. And this, if this is their new sports car, I mean, this is where it's at. This is a really good car overall. It's not just a good car and it's a Lotus. It's actually a nice car overall, which is a huge plus. And it hasn't lost any of the Lotus sports car that anyone buying this car absolutely wants. So well done, Lotus. I can't wait to see more and more of these out on the road. That is then it for the Emira First Edition. The V6 and manual, that is definitely my choice for this car. Big shout out to Flow Lotus of Winston-Salem for providing this awesome car for today's video. This is their demo car, so customers are going to be testing this out, seeing what it is all about. They've made quite a few customer deliveries already, so these things are hitting the streets. I'm going to take the long way back to the dealership. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Check them out, linked down below, and I will see you all in the next video.